we don't promote positive and ownership of your company. I'm making it cool to be smart.
What's going on with all my billionaires out there? This the guy who's billionaire HB, the guy who's billionaire TV. Big favor, big abundance. It's cool to be smart. On today's episode, man, we gonna be talking about, did Lamont Roach get robbed in that Tank Davis fight? Man, that was a good fight. I did not expect that, man. Shout out that boy Lamont Roach, man, handling his business, man. It's a lot of speculation, man, been made on the fight between Tank and Roach, and they fight that just passed at the Barclays Center. Tank gave his homie, I don't think, well, I'm sure a lot of people do know Tank and Roach are friends. They fought in amateurs. They've been friends a long time. He gave him a title shot for his WBA lightweight belt, right? The fight ended in a draw, and it had many people saying that Roach got robbed, okay? Davis, right, who is an 18-1 favorite, right? He's an 18-1 favorite against Roach. And Roach, who moved up from featherweight, right? So he coming up from like 126 to fight Tank, and he looked strong doing it, man. I heard a lot of people saying that, and I agree. Like Roach looked good he looked good moving up. He looked good at lightweight. You know what I mean? Like, he didn't look like the weight really impacted his movement or took away from his quickness or took away from his, twitchiness. He carried the weight well, and he boxed 12 straight rounds, so his conditioning was really good for the extra weight. So, Roach handled that very well, bro. He handled it very well. At 135, he looked really good, right? Now Roach, he had lost to Jamil Hearn, who was beaten by Shakur Stevenson, but that really don't mean anything. I mean, if we just gonna be honest about that. Tank knocked out Hector Garcia, who got the split decision. So, that really don't really matter. But it is something that a lot of people, that's why he was the 18-1 favorite. Like, man, we just saw he lost to Jamil Hearn. Even though a lot of people knew that Lamont Roach could box, I didn't think Lamont Roach did what I thought Frank Martin would do. Like, real talk. Like, I thought Frank Martin would look like that against Tank. I didn't think Lamont Roach would. I thought coming up from 126 that it would just be hard for him to maneuver the same and for his power to translate to keep Tank off of him. Like, I didn't think he had the power to keep Tank off of him all night. Right? I thought eventually he'd wear down, just like everybody else does. I thought eventually he'll wear down, and maybe about the 7th, 8th, 9th round, them Tank is such pinpoint with his punches that those straight pinpoint punches on the chin, on the nose, on the button, those start dropping guys at about the 7th, 8th, 9th round. Salute to Roach. That didn't happen to him. Like I said, I thought Frank Martin would have provided that type of fight, because he got the power, and just in my opinion is a really good boxer, who's really good at getting angles, and is really good at getting angles, really good footwork, know how to get out the way and use the whole ring. Like, I like that about Frank Martin, and he got good stiff punches. But shout out to Roach, man. He ended up doing it, and he ended up showing everybody where he should be looked at, right? He fought really, 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 really well. Used his jab, wasn't relying on just one punch. Used combinations throughout the entire fight, and they were beautiful combinations. Mixture, body, head. He just was touching everything. He brought the fight to Tank. I've never seen that. He brought the fight to Tank. Like, he was staying in front of Tank the entire fight. Like, he would just stay in front of him and just box with him on the inside. Right? It wasn't really a lot of outside boxing like he was trying to keep Tank off. He wanted to meet up in the middle, high guard with Tank, in exchange with Tank. Make Tank miss. You know what I mean? When he could, but even when he was taking shots, he was giving them right back. Every big shot Tank landed, Roach gave right back. Right? I think the biggest punch of the night was Tank had caught Roach with like a straight right hand, and then Roach countered right back with a straight right hand right down the pipe, and it sent Tank flying back a couple steps. You know what I mean? We're like, wow. I'm like, okay, this ain't probably ain't going how Tank thought it would go. Also, another thing, Roach Corner, man, they called a great fight. Roach's Corner called a fantastic fight. You could tell he was locked in with his corner. Everything they were telling him to do, he was doing it, and he was executing at a high level. So they had a great game plan for Tank, and it worked really well. It worked really well. Roach was great conditioning, right? I mean, we got to come on, man. He went 12 rounds. He went 12 rounds essentially just staying in front of Tank and boxing for 12 straight rounds, right? So his conditioning was high level, and he had moved up in weight, right? He had good movement, good punch placement. You know, a lot of the confusion came, you know, we gonna talk about it, man, in round 9 where Tank took a knee. He sent some grease from his braids, got in his eye, right? Okay, so I gotta be real, and I gotta say this as being real, right? Can that happen? I used to have locks, and when I would box with locks, like when I get my locks braided, and yeah, that grease and stuff that they put in your hair, you know what I mean, to, you know, retwist it, or, you know, he got braids, but I'm saying I've had braids too, but with locks, just getting my locks braided. When you sweat, yeah, that grease can pour into your eye. It can, and it does burn. It does sting. I don't know if that was the case, but I can say that that's a real thing. I can't say that that's a real thing. Now, it's how he took the knee, right? It was after he had rolled a hook. Roach threw a hook. He kind of rolled with it, rolled his chin with it, and then took like a jab after that. And then it was like some seconds. It was delayed. It might have been 3-4 seconds later. Tank just took a knee. And then he hurried up and just ran over to his corner. He said he need to get something wiped out of his eye. They wiped something out of his eye. He was ready to fight. The ref stopped. He started to count. He gave him a count. Then I guess Tank looked at him like, what's going on? Like, what? I just wanted to get something out of my eye. So he stopped at 3. Rep told him, man, you can't do that. You can't just be taking knees after punch. That looked like a standing 8 count. A lot of people felt like that should have been ruled a knockdown and should have been a 10-8 round. And if it's a 10-8 round, that swings that back to Lamont to be a majority decision. So he would get the majority decision if he win that round, because that 10-8 round would swing. Both of the judges had those two as a draw, right? Those rounds as a draw. And that would have swung it to him, where he would have had a majority decision. And from what I hear, the New York State Athletic Commission is looking into it to see why wasn't that ruled a knockdown, and could possibly be overturned, and he could possibly end up getting the W and winning Tank belt. I'm hearing that's what's being said. You know what I mean? I'm hearing that's what's being said. So, hey, it was a great fight. I think Roach won too, man. I watched the whole fight. I think Roach won too. Even those beginning rounds that they were kind of trying to give to Tank, I didn't really see Tank doing much. I didn't really see Roach doing much. But I say from about round 8 on, Roach dominated that fight. From round 8 on, Roach dominated that fight. That's what I saw. You know what I'm saying? Tank had some moments. He had some flashes. But Roach definitely looked in control of that fight. But I will say this. In order to beat the champ, you got to dominate the champ. In order to beat the champ, you got to dominate the champ. And did Roach dominate him? No, he didn't dominate him. But did he... For trained boxing eyes, did he get the W? Yes. You know what I mean? Yes, he got the W for trained boxing eyes. Now, this don't all the other guys that's bringing up all these other guys. Oh, yeah, I know why he ducking. What's the fake? Man, Tank been going through a lot. He not ducking nobody. I'm not no Tank fanboy. But what I do know is that it's his friend, right? I feel like he could have possibly been carrying his friend, right? He'd have made his friend's value now a lot higher. These guys were very respectful towards each other all during the press conferences, all during everything. They friends, man. He putting his homie on. Now his homie can get big paydays now. You see what I'm saying? Now his homie can get big pay, and that's what it's about, bro. But I mean, he should get the immediate rematch. If he don't get the immediate rematch with Tank, I'm hearing he might go with Shakur Stevenson. So we'll see what happens. But, you know, that was a good fight, man. What do y'all think? Y'all tell me what y'all think in the comments, man. This the guy, Hoods Billionaire, HB the guy, Hoods Billionaire, Big Favor, Big Abundance, Hoods Billionaire TV. It's cool to be smart. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Like, share, subscribe. It's the guy, Hoods Billionaire, Big Favor, Big Abundance. I'm gone.